So last but not least, let's talk about the Flash, or the big, or the nearing of the end of the DCEU. That's the best way to really look at this film, right?
Well, okay, so I just yeah. Before we start, I just wanted to just give a little rundown of my attitude towards the DCU and why it effectively collapsed and failed. Yeah. So just a quick shout out. Shout out to Movie Bob's Martyr Box series. He has a 4-part series.
Yes,
Yeah, he has a 4-part series, just like chronological. Yeah, that's chronicling his takes on the matter, and that's the 10 years. Because yeah, those are roughly 10 years with Man of Steel, a little over 10 years from when Man of Steel came out, and he just basically give a good rundown and timeline as to this whole ordeal, why it imploded into the black hole of foolishness that it was. And that
it
only
did.
only
I'll,
somebody.
I'll say this. There's just one point about Matterbox quickly, right? The final lines that movie Bob give in the last episode
Right.
though are chilling,
Yeah.
but so true at the same time.
It's
Especially where you
brutal.
say it's not worth your time.
Yeah, brutal.
That
Real brutal.
that hit me, but that
Yeah.
real hit
But
me.
no, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a black hole of foolishness that only somebody with access to the speed force can escape, right? I mean, it is so ridiculous for how this whole thing play out in this 10 years, and it's shocking why it play out the way it did. For what it's worth, I still believe Man of Steel was a workable foundation that could have been built and or pivoted from, but they up and went made Batman v Superman the way they did, and that was the arrow to the knee that they never recovered from. Straight up, right? They never recover from that. After that, everything just started getting worse and worse and worse. And yeah, a toxic mix of a bad faith, recalcitrant fan base, and a terrible retrograde studio mindset and politics, and it's overlapped with real world culture where politics fed into the nonsense. Like straight up, the only reason that James Gunn in charge of the things is because of him getting fired from Marvel and why he got fired. Like study how insane the dominoes had to fall to get to this point. Yeah, it's nonsense. Like absolute nonsense. Whatever. Let's get to the Flash.
Right. Well, Ricardo, if you don't mind, just give us a spoiler-free synopsis of what it's about, and we will get into spoilers later on.
No problem. Right, so Barry Allen, being Barry Allen, having his life, he being, after the events of Justice League, he kind of he kind of considered himself the janitor of the Justice League kind of thing. Clean up mess is whatever Batman can do, he have to do. Basically, in the beginning, he had to sort out a problem involving a hospital, which is not a bad sequence. Although God, the CG boy, fuck that CG dread. Whatever. Uh, but he, in sorting out a problem with his dad involving the death of his mom and him never really resolving that, uh, he basically makes an attempt to go back in time with his Speed Force powers, and he does. But while going back in time, because he discovers that he can time travel given the abilities of thing. I'm gonna mention that whole weird, um, I don't know what to call it, a stadium of time that he was in. I think I know what that is a reference to because I was like this kind of weird, but whatever. He goes back in time and he gets knocked. He's trying to attempt to go back in time, but he's interrupted by some kind of dark flash creature, some kind of creature. We find out who that is, and he goes roughly 10 years into an alternate past because they explain the quote unquote Batman of this alternate past explains what's happening exactly, and they basically have to sort out a situation involving that his past self, and it's a nice little comedy routine with him and himself. And they make it work for what it is. And yeah, I did not completely hate this movie, even though I could imagine a lot of people hating this movie because it commits a big sin that I thought I would have hate, but I'm surprised I don't hate, but they did it anyway.
Yeah,
Ghostbusters
yeah, yeah,
Afterlife,
yeah, yeah.
anyone?
When I saw it,
Yeah,
I was thinking about
yeah,
you and how you
right,
thought about Ghostbusters Afterlife. But we'll talk about
right.
that in the spoilers, right?
Right. So yeah, I didn't have, yeah. Basically, it's that I didn't hate this entirely. I had fun with it, and mostly because again, love him or hate him, and most likely almost everyone hates him. Well, hates them. Ezra Miller is pretty good in this. Ezra Miller plays against themselves, and they really feel like two different characters. And I think a lot of that works, to be honest. Michael Keaton steals the movie. He's pretty good in this. Sasha Kaye is, in my opinion, kind of flat as Supergirl. I was not a fan of that. And then the main conceit. Here's another reason why this movie takes a fat L, because the movie's conceit does the exact opposite answer to Across the Spider Verse. And sorry, Across the Spider Verse has the right answer. This has the wrong answer. So that's about it. I don't completely hate this, but I've had enough fun with it, and I thought it was funny enough in terms of humor. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Right. Well, for me, wanted to like it for what it was, wanted to appreciate it for what it was, and I kind of do.
Yeah.
But I came out of this pretty underwhelmed, right? It's just while I was watching
Right.
all this, and like just to the show's credit, right? I admire what the director Andy, Muschietti did with this, right? Um, you can tell that he is
Right.
passionate about the material itself, and even right down to the point of having, friggin' Batman, from '89, right? Slash '92, right? Edit, right? And like while I'm watching all this stuff, right? And it feels sort of like, in a sense, without spoiling too much, a love letter to DC, right? Not so much the DCEU, right? It's just using the DCEU template to kind of pay
Yeah,
tribute and homage to it, and all I appreciate.
right.
But the same time I watch this, I like,
Right.
this is where we are right now. Like, like for me, all right. So let me show an example here, right? X-Men. These are future past, right? Now that show that's held up very well, right? But still for what it is, it's a great reset.
I liked it enough, but again, I didn't like it anywhere near as much as other people seem to at the time. But yeah,
Right,
well,
because I remember like going nuts over it the first time, and then when I watch it over, especially that director's cut, the
yeah,
roll cut, whatever you call it, I
exactly,
like, second
exactly.
act drag
But to
on
me,
too
I
long.
only give it, I only give it. You see, it gets worse in retrospect because they had a chance to reset. They got a reset, and then they fuck up the reset. Let's be clear about that.
Yep,
Like they
yep,
had they get a complete mulligan, and they still fuck it up. I like, well, all right, well, I
yeah.
can't give you a chance.
Because X Men Apocalypse happened, like
Right
went through
after,
all the drama, reset everything, and
yeah,
then Apocalypse happened, right?
yeah,
So
they still, yeah, yeah. Come on,
yeah, right. So when it comes to like Days of Future Past, right? That is set within its own world, right? It's the world of the rebooted X Men, so to speak, right? But they actually reference the Bryan Singer X Men films, right? So that's fine, right? But without spoiling anything, there was no need. But because those two franchises, if you will, two versions of the same franchise, were like just shy of like 5 or 6 years ahead of each other. It was fine. So it was cool seeing Patrick Stewart team up with oh gosh, I forgot the guy who play Xavier in the
young Professor X. Yeah, I know you
right
know.
young yeah. So it's cool seeing the two of them together. Right, it's a nice little mirror thing, right? Cool. But you didn't see that film, without spoiling anything, go to the 92 to 97 animated series from Fox. I referenced them. You didn't see them
Right.
go back to the 60s X-Men comics when, the books came out, right? They didn't
Uh,
go through all that. It stuck
I
within its
get
own
I
world,
get
right?
what they're going for. I get what they're going for, given the nature of Flash. I get it.
Right.
I
Me
know
too.
the
Me
comics. I've
too.
read it because they okay. So the big thing is clearly the Alex Ross like transfer and sequence section in the comic. Like
Uh-huh.
if you know that comic where it have a big like weird panel. It's like a big two-page spread, and it have one where Superman holding Wonder Woman, and then it switch, and it have it Superman holding Supergirl. Crisis on Infinite Earths montage, the Alex Ross
Right.
montage. Right, that's what it is. So I get what you're going for, fanboy, I get you, but you're over fanboy.
That's
That's the
that's the
fucking
problem. That's the
problem.
problem, right?
And they wanted, as they say, they do DC history and cinema history in general because they make a bunch of like references to alternate possible almost stuff. So they make reference to Eric Stoltz and Back to the Future, and then they do the big thing involving. Well, we will go in the spoiler section, involving something with that Kevin Smith would not shut the fuck up. And my attitude with this is that look, all your fanboys get this bile out of your system. Just let it out. Just let it out. You can
Because by next
now
year, it's not even going to matter.
exactly because now I am glad people have to just shut the fuck up about these almost things and all this fan bullshit that we had to get stuck on for too goddamn long. Let people move on and tell a story, please. Whatever.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that,
go
and
ahead.
that to me is how I felt. Right? Like, okay, I appreciate,
Yeah,
the callbacks to the '89 Batman, right? Even having Michael Keaton be in it, which I was iffy which I was iffy on actually from the first time I heard it announced, right? But I'll talk about the trailer in a bit, right? But
right.
for what it's worth, it works within the story, right? And it was going good, right? Um, Michael Keaton, he is solid with what he's given. That's the best way I can
Yeah,
describe it. He
yeah.
doesn't give
No,
like some
in
amazing
my opinion, he's the
performance,
best
but
thing in the film.
he's good. Yeah. I kind of wasn't feeling the whole, okay, I have the old scruffy hair. It feels very, very cliche. So the moment you
Yeah.
realize you want to become Batman again, you shave it all off and now you look normal. Like, really? We doing this?
No,
But anyway,
it
right?
real predictable, eh? It was
Yeah.
real predictable. Like
Yeah.
this movie, like when they show something, I was like, all right, I know where they're going with this because I know what Flashpoint is, and then I know what they're gonna change.
Right.
And what I'll say, what it felt like kind of like just a solid animated movie. It felt like one of those. Like, okay, it's a slightly different take on Flashpoint, but it's still Flashpoint, whatever. So
Yeah.
it didn't bother me about it.
Right.
But all of it, to me, I just look at this as just it's something that catering to shareholders clearly, and it's something that just for the fanboys to bile out. You get your bile out, vomit it out, so we could shut the fuck up about this nonsense forever.
Right.
Right? Time to stop talking about what Kevin Smith would not shut up about involving a spider. Bullshit
Right.
like that.
Yeah. Exactly. So
Tired of that shit.
so few things for you, and then we get to spoilers, right? So Supergirl, I was underwhelmed by her. Just mainly
Yeah, me
because
too.
you have this instance. Okay, so she's I should say the second time she's being introduced, on the big screen, right, so to speak, right? But her motivation was just so one-dimensional. It's just like, oh well, Zod is coming, so I need to punch Zod in the face. That's my motivation. But nothing about
Yeah, no,
what I think.
they try to give her some depth, but the whole sequence is kind of weak.
Yeah.
And especially when well, I'm a Kryptonian and I want to be a badass, and she leaves.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, she come back. I'm like, what? That kind of
You know?
And then, well, when you find out what happened to Clark. They mention what happened to Clark. Well, Zod mentions
Yeah.
what happened to Clark, and it's like, all right,
No,
guys,
yeah,
maybe she's something.
but for me
But
personally, I just
moving
felt
on.
they could have done much more with her. Like they actually give
Yeah.
right. So in a nutshell, they don't really give her much characterization, right? For me, they actually give a
the thing, I
little
hope
bit
she-
more. I would
hope-
say to Batman. But with Supergirl, it's just okay.
Right.
We just have her here because we need somebody who could fly and punch people. That's
Right.
really like ultimately like her purpose in the film is
I-
just to fly and punch people in the face. That's it.
Yeah, personally, I hope she sticks around, but she don't come back as Supergirl, maybe Power Girl or something. Whatever. I as I say, I watch it, like listen, I watching the movie, I watching it for the plot being Shashakaye. I enjoy the plot, right? So
Right,
it's
right,
fine.
right.
And then seeing her with the Power Girl outfit, it's like, alright, I can live with that.
And to be
I can live
fair,
with
and
that.
to
It's
be
fine.
honest, yes, Ezra Miller is actually really really good as Flash,
pretty
right?
good
Well,
at
you
it,
should
yes.
say the two iterations of Flash, right? I like that
Yes,
they
yes.
give some slight variations on that Barry Allen character. Yes, the one in this
Right.
alternate reality is a dumbass and really annoying. But I like that
Right.
the original one kind of
Right.
calls them out on it and back and forth, so they kind of learn from each other. But at the same time,
Right.
the real Barry Allen kind of
What I-
learns
what I
about
like what it did-
about themselves, and becomes a better hero as we
Right.
see near the end of the film, right?
Right. What I like what they actually did is a small moment, but I like the metaphor of the time stuff where that Michael Keaton Batman explained. He said, "Oh, think of it like this," and he just turned the spaghetti, and
Yeah, the spaghetti. That's a nice metaphor, actually, I must say.
right. Yeah, it's a nice little quick way to teach the audience the material now, because that's how it does work. It's not when Flash went back in time, it not only affected the future, but the past as well, right? But in that storyline, they call it a time boom, which it is a shockwave that went both ways. In this, it's more like a switch, and it's like, well, this Batman is real smart and old. Like that makes sense. He's basically the old Batman from Batman Beyond, right? At this point.
Yeah,
Um,
just more reluctant to help our heroes. I was actually surprised by that because I thought you would have been like, yeah, fuck off. And he kind of does that, but he still kind of let them
Right.
let him stay in the mansion, which was weird, but whatever,
right.
right?
To figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
Right.
that was weird, right? So couple more
Yeah.
things, and then we get to spoilers, right? Now, as they say, animated movie now. That to me, unfortunately, is like premise-wise is how the show ultimately feels. What I mean, like I understand that the DCU is almost on out the door, right? It's crawling its way out to the floor, right? With out to the door, sorry, with its already forcibly removed nails and whatnot, right? I could see it happening, right?
Right.
But at the same time, this feels just like this, like one of those DC animated films where, it tells its own story and then it just goes, but it does not really add to like some big conceit or anything big that's going to happen in the future.
Yep.
This is how unfortunately the Flash
Yep.
felt, right? When all is said and done. It just felt
Yep.
like, okay, he just kind of does this and then he learns his lesson. The end. Nothing else to look forward to. The
Yeah.
end. Okay.
No, here's the thing. So I don't want to get into the spoilers, but it does the exact opposite lesson of Spider-Verse, though.
Yes, in
Like-
terms of the idea of what makes a hero, right? Yeah, it does that.
Well, the whole conceit towards fatalism.
Right,
Like,
right.
that's the whole point out. Yeah, like it does the exact opposite message of Spider-Verse. If Spider-Verse didn't come out, I'd have probably like this movie more. Well, like Spider-Verse, I kind of say, oh well, This movie's
Yeah,
like
like you
retrograde
have a
nonsense,
choice. So
though.
it's not like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
supposed to be this person because of the bad things in your life, right? But
right,
whatever, right? And last but not
yeah,
least, the elephant in the room, right? The VFX. Yes, it's
right.
spotty in some points, very noticeably spotty in some
No,
points
it's
though.
pretty bad almost
Um,
everywhere. 'Cause here's what I think: they spend all their money on the whole twin thing,
it's
on Barry
clearly,
and his
boy,
counterpartner.
'cause
They
that
clearly
should look
spend
that
all
should
their
look
money on that because
flawless. It looked flawless, right?
right, no, yeah, exactly. The last time I saw that done well was Social Network and Army Hammer with the
Yes, you're
Winklevoss
right,
thing.
you're right, you're right. Yes, yes.
I thought that
And
was,
that's
but yeah,
2010,
exactly.
by the
Since
way.
then,
Think about
this
that, huh?
right in this they did it almost perfectly, and because Ezra Miller, like, look, Ezra Miller is a complete supervillain, right? Like the Flash, right? But Ezra Miller versus themselves is really good though. It's like really good though, back and forth, and it's funny. Like they feel like two different people.
Yeah, the visuals, right? Especially for the action sequences. While they are very dynamic, I must say, right? And I actually like what Andy does in terms of making, these scenes really vibrant and colorful and creative and over the
Right.
top, right? You really do see the wonky VFX though, especially when it
Okay,
comes to the
so I
movements of the
there's no
Flash at some points though. But like it
right.
wasn't too bad where I was like, how this thing looking
Yeah,
shitty,
exactly.
blah blah blah. It just kind of added to the over the topness of what I'm seeing here. I actually thought like the I should say the big one of the big set pieces involving this battle involving our heroes against Zod and his army. That was pretty cool, and like how
Yeah,
they use color as well too
they
with
look
the
fine.
blue
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the yellow. That was pretty cool as well, right? And also
Right,
points
right,
for, well, I could kind of give points too for the music, from Benjamin
right.
Wallfish, who actually did the score for films like Mortal Kombat and Chapter 2 and stuff like that, right? But yeah, he actually does this very vibrant score for it as well. Even like does callbacks to the Danny Elfman Batman team, the iconic team for it as well
Right.
too, involving when you see scenes with Batman. That was nice. That was nice, right? But I like that Benjamin kind of making his own
Right.
thing, right? So yeah, music is fine and all that, though. It's just when it comes to their visuals, though, hit or miss, very hit or miss. And now let's get into spoiler territory. Wee you, you've been warned, right?
Right. So Nicolas Cage Superman makes an appearance, and that's kind of funny, kind of.
Kinda,
Uh,
but I won't lie. When I saw that, it took about the show though.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, let me touch on that for a bit, right? Just
Right.
to give more context, right? So the Speed Force, right, or at least the version of the Paradox. No, well, actually, Speed Force that we see, right? I
Right.
That whole theater kind of vibe thing threw me off
Right.
at first, right? It is
Right.
very abstract, very weird, and I actually kind of commend the show for just saying, let me just do something really unique and
Right.
special. So that
What
was
I thought,
interesting.
yeah. At first, it was really weird, and then I was like, oh shit, no, this is the Alex Ross thing. It's Alex Ross,
Okay,
straight up Alex
I didn't
Ross.
know, right?
Yeah, that's what I kind of got from it. Yeah.
So what I do like about it though is that where there are rows, right? Where the theater attendees are watching, the stage being where our hero Flash is running towards a certain point.
Right.
He would
Yeah.
see like versions of the same events, on
Right.
these rows, if you will, right? And he would just kind
Right.
of lock it on one that looks kind of familiar, and then he would jump into it, or one that looks
Yep.
interesting. I like that.
Right.
That it's weird, it's abstract, but it works, right? So
Right, and well, it lines up. It lines up with the whole retro causality thing that Bruce was explaining.
right.
I like that. That's a nice metaphor for it. Again, it don't have to make sense. I don't have to care about the time you want. You crap, whatever it is. One thing that kind of confused me though. So did did the dad look up because it was a different universe, or was it because of Barry putting the can there? Because
Oh, I
the
do you
scene in
know.
the begin. Here's the thing. Because the scene before, he was looking at the way how they framed the camera. It looked like he got the idea to say, well, he didn't learn his lesson. Well, the lesson they're trying to teach in
Mm.
this, right? And then, but when he went back to the present, the alternate present, he was surprised the dad was freed because it changed it the same evidence from before he couldn't get now because of what Bruce gave him now.
Yes, yes.
Well,
The
Ben Affleck
sort
Bruce,
of
right?
technology thing. Yeah.
Ben Affleck Bruce. Right. So now I think it's just because of the change of the universe. And well, it's not, again, another big spoiler, huge spoiler. It's not Ben Affleck Bruce anymore. It's now
George Clooney's. Da, 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 da.
George Clooney's Bruce. Right. Yeah. Batman and Robin.
Hey, Freeze, I'm Batman.
Yeah.
Shows up in this movie. Yeah,
That is such a fuck you to the fan base.
yeah
Oh my
boy.
god. A whole bunch of fans who hate that movie and not let that shit go.
But let me use this as a springboard to talk about cameos, right? So let me just start from the beginning, then we'll get to that big moment, right? But I'll go back to the Speed Force a little bit, right? So cameos, right? So didn't expect to see Wonder Woman in this,
Yeah.
but the way how it's set up though, it's like
Right.
it's one of those dumb questions
Boring.
people ask. Well, if we live in a world where this character and this character exists, why one person trying to handle everything, right? It's a okay
Right.
setup, right?
Right.
The setup itself is kind of
Right. But
cheesy in retrospect with the whole thing with guy attacks hospital and blows up from the bottom, so building is capsizing, and it
yeah.
just happens to be this wing where all these newborn babies are. So yes, Flash has to go and save the babies,
Yeah, got
but
it.
then you have this
I did.
rescue
I did.
dog and he has to
I
save that too, and they're like, all right, this
right.
is meant for laughs. I get it. It's kind of fun and funny because it's the Flash, okay,
Right.
and it's dazzling to look at
Right.
visually, but it's kind of silly in retrospect, though. But I kind of get it, though.
No, I thought I didn't have a problem with this action sequence at all. I
Okay.
thought it was funny. I just wish his CG. I just thought his CG would have been better. But like I enjoyed it because it's like somebody make a mention. It reminiscent of a Buster Keaton kind of situation.
Oh yeah,
Like they
yeah,
just
yeah,
get
you're
weird,
right. Buster
and
Keaton
then
or Harold
they
Lloyd,
make
yeah.
right, and they make a big funny like a lot of great visual gags. So like it looked like he go and rescue a child, and then he goes straight for like some candy because he running out of energy because he can get a sandwich
Yeah.
earlier. Stuff like that. I like that. I don't mind stuff like that. That's fine. Meant to be funny. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, and on the subject of that, I like that I like that idea that he has to eat, the whole emphasis on calorie
Right.
stuff there,
Exactly.
because he just kind of gloss over it in the Flash TV series, like you just mentioned
Well,
once or twice or whatnot.
no, they mentioned it
But in
with
this case,
Cisco.
like no, I have to make sure that I have enough nutrients inside of me or
Yeah.
calories before I even do this
Right.
running shit, right? Because
Yeah. It was a quick like couple of throwaway gags with Cisco. Cisco used to give him like a little tablet, and the tablet is like a bunch of calories or whatever it is. It's fine.
all right,
Or he
yeah,
had like
yeah,
a
yeah, I
special
remember that, right?
alcohol that could get him drunk, for example, or something like that. Like in his
Yeah.
TV show. Whatever. Moving on.
Right. So yeah, the Batman. So of course Batman come. He do anything with the bike. Blah blah blah. That's
Right.
okay. But they catch me though with Diana Prince showing up, and of
Right.
course they had to play the team song.
Right. Of course.
They had to do that, right?
Right.
And all right. So weird thing, right? When I saw it, when I saw this movie in cinema, right? There was not a lot of people in the screen that I went to. Huh. Interesting, right? Interesting, right? Um, but yeah, there were numerous moments I was watching this and I was telling myself, if I saw this with a wider audience, they probably wouldn't be making noise because people make noise with the screen that I went to with Shazam 2 when Wonder Woman show up. But in this case,
Right.
she show up as like, okay, she show up, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
But why bring it up, in this case, right? Because I have to touch on the Justice League, right? Um, did they really need to be there outside of just as re-establishing the fact that the Flash is
It's
part of
a
the Justice League? Because I'll tell
it's
you
a
this, right?
dumb.
Because Diana show up, she come and go. Bruce do thing, well, I say Batfleck do thing, and then there's a moment where he talking to Barry, and that's it. And then they
Right.
had the goal in the post-credit scene, the end credit scene, sorry, to show Aquaman, and he just being
Right.
this
Well,
drunk asshole now who,
Right.
and then the joke is, oh, there's a puddle, and you fall in the puddle, and he's singing, and he's talking shit. It's like, oh, I'm home,
Well,
woo!
the thing is,
And just
the
feel
thing is,
like,
he's not
why?
he's not
Why?
Aquaman anymore. He's an alternate Aquaman. So
No, no,
whatever
no, no, no.
Aquaman.
Actually, no, because while they were talking, he was saying he was describing his adventure to him. So I assume
Right.
that Barry is now back in the real world because
No.
before the credits
Ba-
started rolling, he wasn't. So now he's back
No.
in the real world. So he's
Yeah,
talking to Aquaman.
no. No, you can't go home. That's the whole point. It have no home for him to go back to. You have to accept this new world. There's a new world. That's the whole point of Flashpoint. It's a reset everything. It have no real world. You can't go
Okay,
back.
okay.
That's why the
I was
George Clooney
confused.
thing was the thing.
All right,
That's the whole
I
point of the
honestly
George
thought that
Clooney.
he went back to his real time.
No.
Okay, I don't know.
Nope.
All right,
Nope. You can't go back.
that's
You
weird.
have
That's
no way
weird,
to go
right?
back.
Yeah. I should mention just quickly. Iris, she was there. The chemistry was hit or miss
Right.
too.
She had a small part in the Injustice League. She was cut out of the Whedon cut.
Yeah, but she was there
And
in the
then she was
Snyder
put
cut.
back in
Yeah,
the Snyder cut.
yeah.
Right
She's
there.
there. She looked cute.
Is that girl from? She was in Dope. I think?
Yes.
She
Yeah,
alright,
she
actually.
did. She looked sweet and
Yeah.
whatnot, but like chemistry,
Yeah, she alright, yeah.
especially the end where she kind
Yeah,
of had to
whatever,
force herself to ask Barry out to the date, and Barry just being Barry,
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
no,
I
right?
don't
Yeah.
care.
So now,
Yeah.
now back to the Speed Force stuff, right? So we have this stuff, and now we get into where we had the big climactic fight scene with our heroes against Zod, right? Zod, speaking of cameos, wasted in this. I felt
Yeah,
he
come
was
on.
he was just
Yeah.
as one dimensional as Supergirl because just like yes,
But I didn't expect more. I didn't expect
I
more.
know, but
Yeah. And that's,
right.
is
Right,
exactly
so
what I
so
expect.
I hate
Yeah.
to see this. I hate to see this because I don't want to come off as you don't understand comic book movies, man. You don't have to explain this stuff. Do I necessarily have to remember Zod's motivation from Man of Steel to understand why he is
Well, all
in
right.
this movie here? Because he just kind of shows up with the
Kind
intention
of.
of terraforming the Earth. I get that, okay. But
Right.
then he brings up the stuff
Yeah.
involving, Kal-El's blood, and now I know how to remember all
Right.
that shit that they was talking about from since Man of Steel. And it's
Yeah.
like, I
Well,
don't remember this. I'm sorry.
I vaguely remember. No, it's a vague, like just a quick, like a whatever. It's a quick thing. I don't really care.
Right,
I
right.
really did not care.
Okay, right?
Because they just had to explain. They just had to explain why he would go after Supergirl or care about Supergirl, because apparently Supergirl is the person with all the taking she blood this time. So like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. And the whole
Yeah.
reveal that Kal-El didn't make it to Earth
Right. But it's implied
is
he killed Kal-El.
right,
Yeah. He murdered Kal-El. Yeah.
is not shocking to me at all because
No,
of
it's
the
fine.
whole
Yeah.
Flashpoint idea, right? Now, I
Right.
do like, even though you saw it coming a mile away, I do like the idea of, alternate Barry becoming eventually the Reverse Flash. That was interesting. The
Well, he's not Reverse Flash. He's Dark Flash.
Dark Flash. Okay,
Right. Yeah.
sorry,
Whatever.
right?
Right.
The design of it is of him,
It looks
of
okay.
them, sorry, is interesting. I didn't expect it. The whole idea with the blade that is in his arm, and then he eventually
Right.
turns to other blades, so it kind of like
Yeah.
messes
It
up his
built up over
body,
time. Yeah.
and I like how they set it up even early on with him taking one of Batman's old suits to form it now. So it's like
Right.
this
Yeah.
weird hodgepodge of characters that come together to make this Dark Flash. That's interesting. I
Yeah.
like that, right?
It's not clear. It's not clear how long he was doing it, but they say like it looked like a while, like it could
Yes,
have been,
yes.
decades probably, or even longer.
Yeah, I felt it was too little, too late in terms of, oh, we could fix this now, and he keeps going back. Like that was when I really got more Flashpoint stuff because leading
Right.
up to that point was just okay. It's Batman and it's Supergirl. Whoa, wow, right? And just to touch on trailer again, right? Again, Warner having no confidence in what it is they put it out there. Now,
Yep.
remember early on, right? When early reactions to the movie came out and people were saying, "Oh my God, it's the greatest superhero movie ever made," right? That was because they saw Michael Keaton show up for the first time in the
Yeah.
movie. There was no
That is
trailer
true.
to spoil it. So when I saw
Yep.
Michael Keaton show up, and this especially how they build it up, even right down to him saying the line, "Yeah, I'm Batman," kind of
Right.
fell flat for me. And it's even worse because I saw it at the
Yeah.
cinema with not that much people. So I just saw it like, yeah, the trailer spoiled us already. This is not amazing. This is not amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, Batman is there,
Well,
but it's not amazing
what
to me. I'm
what they
sorry.
hide, what they hide for later is what the real like thing that people need to be spoiling for now. That is what the big thing. So yeah, they do some digital necromancy, and Christopher Reeve shows up,
And
which I thought I
and
would have really
Supergirl
hated.
too.
And the Supergirl
I
comes back, right?
bothered. Nobody
I thought that,
cares about 84 Supergirl. Nobody cares.
yeah. And then they show so the guy who was playing, they show the old Jay Garrick, they show what you call him, this Batman, Adam West Batman for 2 seconds.
Oh, it was him.
Um
I saw it was the 40s Batman first. Like, it
right.
wasn't the 40s.
No, they show the 50s Superman as well.
Right,
George
they
Reeves.
showed that one. Yes,
Uh
yes.
he was there as well. Well, you know what would be funny if they had Ben Affleck play that, because remember Ben Affleck play George Reeves in the
Oh
movie.
right, yes.
I forget the
Oh
name of
gosh,
the
I forget the
movie.
name of it. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Like I was seeing all this, right? I cringed when I saw Christopher Reeve, right? And again, because I saw it in the
Yeah,
audience
that's
and
kind of cringe.
wasn't
Yeah.
that many people there. I was
Yeah.
in my head I tell myself, if I was in another screen, audiences would be bothered over this. I don't think so. I really
I
don't
don't
think
know,
so.
boy.
This is the Transformers moment with Bumblebee, right? Hint, right?
Right.
But yeah, boy, this is clearly for the
Yeah.
fans, and I just watching this and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Because it
No,
just
I get what I get. Listen. I get what they're doing. I get it. I get what they're going for. I can see real people hating this because I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it anywhere near as much as what they did with Ghostbusters Afterlife.
right.
But still, they didn't need to do it. But I
Eh,
get
eh,
what they're going for, because like Barry had to learn the multiverse bullshit now.
Yeah.
Whatever.
What's so funny
Moving on.
about all this, right? And we'll get to the big reveal just now, right? What's so funny about all this, right? Wasn't there a Crisis on Infinite Earth story arc in Arrow, the Flash, or whatnot, where
They had
Ezra
a flashpoint
met
in the Flash.
Grant, Gustin?
Right, no Grant.
No Grant,
But-
right?
No Grant. I don't care.
But you tell them,
I
you,
don't care
you,
to
you,
be-
you tell them, with all the effort, all the went out of your way to show me Christopher Reeve again, and what's her face who plays Supergirl again, right? And the person who you'll get
That's
to
all I
next,
say, eh?
you could just squeeze in Grant Gustin. After the
No,
fact, I
here's the
tell
thing.
myself, but if they referencing Superman as in 78 Superman, why didn't it get Brandon Routh, who was playing the same character literally, who was in
Nah,
Superman
they
Returns?
can't.
Nope.
They're not doing that. Nah, they're not doing that. And the reason why they can't listen, if they get Grant, people would immediately say that Grant should replace him. Man. They
Thank you.
couldn't bring in Grant,
Thank you.
so forget that.
Yeah.
They couldn't do that.
Right.
And yeah, that's kind of annoying what they're going forward is because like yeah, they like the way other things going is that they're gonna make continue Ezra Miller and like guys, we give you a kind of a chance with this, but
Yeah.
you need to fuck off with that.
Right. So,
Seriously.
so a few more things before I get to it, right? So, I mentioned Justice League already, right? Wouldn't it have hurt though, right? With all these references to Superman and Batman, that we could have shown her a 70s Wonder Woman or something. I mean, I know she was in the very end of Wonder Woman 1984, the actress herself, but
Yeah,
since
they ain't
if
doing that.
this is what they're going for, because we have to show the world, we have to remind the world how important these characters are in pop culture. Okay, well, why not instead of just zeroed in, on Superman and Batman, why can't it just be other versions of the Justice League members, right? Just saying, just asking. I don't
I don't
know.
care about that.
But the moment that took me out of it, Jed, was when I saw Nicholas motherfucking Cage Dread,
Okay.
who
Right.
because
Yeah, so that is
for those who don't know, right? Kevin Smith wrote,
he was also
did a
playing, yeah.
script for basically like a new Superman movie. This was in the 90s, right? But that didn't work out, right?
Right.
But I think it's through a producer, I forget which one, right? He wanted spiders in the film, and I think Nicolas Cage himself
Yeah.
wanted to play the role, and they did some tests, shots and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
But the main, and there's
Yeah,
this
with the blue
one
suit, yeah.
famous one that always pops up every time you do a Google search of him, right? But the mere fact that they
Right.
replicated that and made that out to be some kind of big, major, important moment
Joke.
in this
Yeah.
movie, I was like, "Fuck
A
you,
real
movie.
cringe.
Fuck you." Are this serious? Is it a
Yeah, it's a
joke? Or
cringe. It's
you,
cringe.
you're trying
Yeah,
to
it's cringe.
make me laugh with this? Is this supposed to be funny or something?
Exactly. It's fanboy shit. It's fanboy shit.
That's what it is. But am I supposed to laugh at this? Am I supposed to be like, "Oh my God, we're never gonna see this
Yeah.
again"? But thanks to the Flash, this is our first
Yeah.
glimpse. Holy
No, but
shit!
again, here's the problem. Again, Across the Spider-Verse already did this with Donald Glover and the Prowler, right?
Yep.
Right? So that's the problem with this is that Spider-Verse
They
doesn't.
can't even do references right. I'm
Thank you.
sorry, can't do references
Can't do
right.
that
But
right.
again, you're touching on the Justice League, right? Which is like the core team that this DCEU was built on anyway. You could have shown other variations of those other characters and just
Yeah, and I didn't do that.
bring in some TV characters
You have
or
to do a
something.
set
I
of
don't know.
movie and fanboy bullshit that only fanboys care about. Right?
Yeah.
Apparently, okay. So, quick question. I think the guy who played the old Flash, who played Jay Garrick, that was Teddy Sears, right?
I should
can't
look that
remember.
up because I was looking for John Wesley Ship. I think his name is right, but I didn't
Right.
see him. I didn't
Right.
see him. Yeah. But
Okay,
yeah.
I'm trying to remember who that was. 'Cause I don't know who the
Right.
actor they got for that old one. Whoever.
Right, and then getting back to the whole animated movie thing. Ultimately, it just kind of boils out to this is the dark side of try to alter time. So yeah, now you have to make a choice, and then well, I mean the choice that he makes,
Spider-Verse
right?
already had a better answer. So it's like,
Yes,
oh, who
right,
cares?
exactly, right. And
This,
while I
this is
do
the old
appreciate,
bullshit answer.
yeah, and
Yeah.
while I do appreciate that moment where Barry encounters the alternate his alternate mother, right?
Right.
And then talks a little bit. Of course, he doesn't reveal that he is his son, basically, right? And then
Right.
he puts back the can of tomatoes. I just love how ironic the whole conceit is, where it's all about a can of tomatoes. That to me is great irony in my opinion, right? And yes, you get a really nice moment there. It's very emotional. I didn't cry for it,
Right.
but I get it. I get where it's
It's
come
fine,
from, it, right? But it was a letdown as well too, because you tell me everything that we've seen before kind of doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because our hero now understands that manipulating time is bad, so he just has to kind of go back and just kind of accept things for what they are, just let the timeline play
Right.
out. His parents die, and
Right.
back to normal, so
Well,
to
I mean,
speak, and
they-
that's
they-
the
they-
film. Okay,
They try to have it both ways. They try to have it both ways because the father now get out of prison. So they leave it in.
right.
Like,
Well,
alright, like, I get
yeah.
back
Well,
more
that
but
I understand. But
here's a
what
dumb
I
thing.
mean,
Here's a dumb thing.
what I mean is just in terms of the villains themselves. That's why I get to that, right? Because it just kind of ends, with the whole battle that I mentioned earlier. It just kind of ends with, okay, well, it with every iteration that the Flash does, Supergirl will die by Zod, Zod will live, and Batman
Right,
will
yeah,
die, and
exactly.
that's it.
But
Just rinse and
that's the
repeat.
problem. That's the problem with the story. This is again, Spider-Verse already said fuck you to something like this now. Because they try to make it out as if this impossible thing that you can't change forever. I'm like, wow, that's such a contrivance of the storyline though. And
Yeah, and
again,
it just kind of boils out to okay, that's it. There's nothing can be done. Okay, all right, let's just go
yeah,
back and set things
yeah.
back to normal.
Here,
The
here,
end of the movie. Okay,
here's another dumb thing. Here's another thing. So you could time travel still. We still don't find out who killed the mother. Eh?
dude, you are right, Jen. And
Yeah.
you would think that Barry would
You are
have
going to
tried to
find out
figure
that.
that out, you know.
Trying to find out who that is, right?
But
Yeah.
as he
So
run it,
I thought
as
that
he
was gonna
run
be the
into
twist.
Old Barry, as he ran, sorry, into Old Barry, that was
Yeah.
it. Now we have
That
to
was
go
it.
and find Batman. And now that we find Batman, now we have to find
Yeah.
Superman and they find Supergirl. But what about the person who killed your mother? The one that bought the event that spurred you to do this shit in the first place? You just kind of say, fuck all this, man. Batman, right?
Yeah.
Supergirl, right?
Here's
You know?
what I feel, eh? I feel they had the scene, they cut it, and they had to cut it because James Gunn resetting everything, and he said, "I'm not doing this," so they cut it
Yeah, yeah.
because it only had really one person is torn. Whatever. Moving on.
Exactly, right?
Next.
And I'll close with this, right?
Yeah.
The George Clooney reveal, again, because the place I saw it,
Complete fuck you to the fans.
yeah, I was
Or at
like,
least
oh, this
at least
serious?
the toxic fan base who hate that.
Yes.
Sorry. Repeat.
No, I mean, like, I
What
was
is it?
saying in the cinema that I was in, like, you would think this would be a moment that would have garnered, like, thunderous applause. People was just like, oh, shit, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, shit, they're doing
I laugh at
this,
that,
you
though.
know?
No, I laugh at that. I laugh at that. When I see that, I'm like, okay, they do that funny though. That kind of funny.
Yeah, but no Val Kilmer though. Like
Now
how
they
you
can't
can
go.
how
They
you can
can't get
do.
Val Kilmer.
But I mean I understand. But you know
Yeah, nah.
if you want to pay tribute to all things Batman,
Nah.
can I, if you know it would have been terrible if they did a deep fake Val Kilmer though or something along that line.
Yeah, well, no Grant. Whoever, move on.
Yeah, no
No Grant.
Grant. They
If
could have
they,
put
I
him in
tell you,
this
if
right.
Grant face would show up, everybody would be like, all right, you definitely have to tell Ezra Miller to fuck off. It's like, so they could do that. And look, I am very worried. Look, so I think Blue Beetle looking fun enough, but again, Blue Beetle supposed to be the real start of the new DC James Gunn era stuff, apparently, right? In
All
terms of
right,
this
so
new
why
continuity.
I don't understand why it's coming out before Aquaman 2, but
Right.
whatever.
Well,
I don't care
Aquaman
right
2.
now.
So Aquaman 2 is not really a sequel to Aquaman not 1 now because that's a new continuity. So they like gonna reset Aquaman 2 and make it something totally different. And
Ugh.
they'll act as if Aquaman 1 didn't happen. And again, well, they get to do that because another problematic problem child have to bust the throat. She had a bust the throat, right? That's Amber Heard. She kind
Uh-huh.
of they had to cut most of that. And from what I understand, they kind of cutting most of her out of the movie. From what I understand, we'll find out. I don't know.
Right, right.
But the way how this ends and implies is that Ezra Miller is going to stay in the DCU and like, no, you can't be doing that. Sorry, he
Exactly,
cannot.
because
They
I
cannot
was
come back.
seeing behind the scenes that the director loved the fact that he was working with
Yeah,
Ezra. And, you know, he want to work with him on
like,
more Flash movies. Like, what more Flash
guys,
movies you talk about?
yeah, nah, that can't happen. If that happening, that will die in its crib. Sorry, James Gunn, that shit gonna die in its crib if you keep Ezra Miller on. That is an immediate death sentence.
Exactly, boy. Exactly. So in closing, right, with the already looming shadow over this movie as is thanks to Ezra Miller, right? The
Right.
show, unfortunately for me, was neither here nor there for me. It just felt like
Yeah.
DC, not just DCU, right, but just DC in general, just trying way too hard to remind people of well, I should say the films themselves, the live action films, reminding them, right, trying to remind the world of why they're still relevant, or why people should care. Like the mere fact that you brought back Christopher Reeve and the older Batmans and stuff like that, and taking something that's kind of like a joke now in retrospect with Nicolas Cage now, and treating this like, oh my god, this is why you should care about Superman, this is why you must care about Batman, and you're kind of forgetting that is a Flash story. It's kind of testament of how far this franchise, I should say this yeah, the DCU has gone by, to the point that we just doing nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia. Oh look, it's Michael Keaton. Don't you like Michael Keaton? Ain't you like
Yeah.
him? But now we're
Yep.
gonna have him in a Flash movie, and you think, okay, well if we're doing this, then we just bring in Superman. But we can't really do that because Henry Cavill and Christopher Reeve
And
and yada yada
I would
yada.
argue,
Blah,
and I
blah,
would
blah.
argue,
So let me just bring in Supergirl,
I would
but she
argue,
just there to fly and
yeah, no,
punch
that's
people
the
and
thing
do shit.
because
Okay.
yeah, because I thought because Sasha Kaye was so underwhelming in this, I thought this was a missed opportunity to bring back Cavill.
Yeah.
right?
I was
To me, he
actually
could have come back in it.
looking for some glimpse of him, right? Like see like a Shazam s
Yeah,
kind of glimpse of him. But we don't even get that, right?
right.
Like really, you know?
No, I felt they could have bring back Cavill. Like that was the role they could have bring back Cavill in an alternate version of no.
Look,
Um,
if Ben Affleck Dread could take his time off from what is he doing, I could see how unenthusiastic he is, right? With that moment with him talking to Ezra, how enthusiastic he is to even be in this movie, yeah? You know, they could have bring in Henry too.
is it just me that or like his jaw was swollen on one side? He was like
I didn't
slurring
pick
his
up on
words or
that
something.
though,
Yeah, it looked
but
weird. He looked weird. Whatever.
yeah, kind of, right? But yeah,
Anyway, so
well, that's just inclusive, right? But yeah, the
right.
nostalgia was just too heavy. It felt
Yeah.
way too unnecessary. It took away from the story. And here's the thing, right? You know, like I'm all for resetting timelines and all that kind of stuff, but it didn't really do that. But it kind of did in a sense, and it just kind of came out pretty underwhelming. I felt it should have just stuck within its own DCEU universe and tell its own story thread. Like literally, we have an animated movie by the name of Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox that does that
Right.
so well, right? You could have done that.
Yep.
Give us reworked versions of Wonder Woman or Aquaman or whatever, right? Or Cyborg or whatever it is.
Because
That could have
here's
been
the
the
thing,
story, but no, we
yeah,
can't
yeah,
do that.
yeah. I think
One sec. No, we can't do that because we had to get butts in seats. So what's the best thing we
yeah.
could do? Well, here's what. Wouldn't it be cool if we get the old Batman to be in this? And
Yeah.
not just that, Trey. Let me just bring in, let me just have a
Because
glimpse of a Superman here and a Superman there and a Batman there. And that will really please the fans, right? Right?
exactly. But a better movie, a better version of this instead of doing that alternate old Batman. Again, why they do it? But yeah, they could have bring back Negan as Sting. Remember Negan is Batman dad now, and he could have been Thomas Wayne.
Oh, right.
You know,
From
they pull the
BVS.
trigger on that.
Yes.
From BVS, right? Exactly. And he's a big time actor. Good. You get he to come true, but nope, they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last point and then
All
rating
right,
now.
right. So yeah, so for me, I get where it is you're coming from. You know, it's trying to be this love letter to all things DC and whatnot. But the mere
Yeah.
fact that they just zero in more on Superman, Batman is kind of suspect to me. The Flash stuff is interesting, and what he learns and all that is kind of interesting. A little too little, too late as far as like really showing us how the side effects of trying to rewrite time and all that kind of stuff, right? Ezra Miller, he they do their thing, screen presence, all that kind of stuff. You get some funny moments, some great, back to future kind of moments and whatnot. But ultimately, this kind of just felt sort of fillerish, unfortunately. It really does not add to, okay, well, if the DCU is about to wrap up now, or maybe this is the last of it, who for we know, give us,
Yeah.
end it off on a high note, Dre, but don't rely on
Nah, they can't do that.
nostalgia to do so. You don't need
No.
the older Superman and Batman to tell your story. Just tell your story and end it off. And you could still do the timeline stuff, right? But just use the characters that exist already in your own universe. You don't need to show me Nicolas Cage
Yeah.
for reasons. But anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than
Nope.
that,
They got
yeah.
a chance to do it. They got a chance to do it. They
That's
fucking
what
do
it
it.
is, right? So
They don't
so
care.
so they,
Yeah.
they so
Right.
basically they jerk themselves off, they get it off, okay, cool, right? Moving on, right? So yeah, for me,
Yep.
rating wise, I didn't love it, I
Yeah.
didn't hate it, it was just mid to me. So I'm gonna give this a strong
Yep.
a strong 2.5 to a very, 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 very light 3 out of 5. See it if you want to. If you
Right.
just want to see some, sparkly DC shit, check it out. Though, I guess if you're a DC fan, you'll appreciate it more and all that. But I just felt like the nods and the callbacks to material that is within DC, but it's not related to the DCEU, was forced and just made no sense to me,
Right.
right? And again, if this is the end, or if this
Right.
is like nearing the end of the DCU, boy, yeah, boy, they're really really trying hard to make us care, boy. But right now, I just don't. I really don't. But yeah, Ricardo, your final
You're
thoughts.
done. I kind of feeling bad for. Yeah, no, I kind of feeling bad for James Gunn now because he have such a lemon on his heart and stuff. But I don't know. He getting a chance to reset everything, like do eating. So we get to ignore last 10 years, wasting everybody goddamn time. Move on. Yeah. My attitude. Yeah, plot was a little predictable. Central conceit and the conflict was fine, even though it flipped against what Spider Verse did. Spider Verse kind of shit on them a little bit. Sorry. The how to say it? It was the timey-wimey goofiness is very hard to ignore because you have to accept conceits and it's like, well, if you're doing this, then why not do this? Whatever. Time travel bullshit, I don't care. The big takeaway, as I said, is because it does the exact opposite of Spider-Verse. This whole, hey, literal zoomer, listen to the billionaires and accept your fate kind of mindset. No, like it just was kind of weird in that way. Like when Spider-Verse brought it up, it's like, it's kind of hard to go back because this is how these stories are almost always told. And we could get into a bigger argument about Marvel versus DC and the culture, blah blah blah. No one cares. Adding enough fun with it is a push buttons movie. Wherever you feel, they make it work for what it is. And Ezra Miller versus themselves is not bad. That comedy duo versus themselves is fine. That works. But everything else is bullshit. I thought I'd hate the Necro Digital cameos more, but I didn't. I really thought I would have. I knew it had some, but I don't know what they were gonna do. And when they did it, I was like, all right, whatever. I'm moving on. It didn't bother me super much. Rating, 5 in the middle, 5.5 something. It's closer to a 5 than a 6, but it's around that. Like I really wished they just did a smarter version of the script, but again, it don't matter because again, James Gunn coming and taking over everything. We'll see with Blue Beetle. We will see with Blue Beetle.
Yeah,
right?
we
If that's
will
good or
see.
not, I
We
don't
will
know.
see.
I have no idea. It might be good. We don't know, right? But this, yeah, about a 5 out of 10.